Okay, a little baby horse born last month has not only become an example of just how amazing science is, but also a symbol that there is hope for endangered species. Now, scientists have successfully cloned this rare horse using genetic material cryopreserved from 40 years ago. Farron Franzak brings us that report.
A miracle in science nearly 40 years in the making. The Przewalski horse is considered the last species of true wild horses, having never been domesticated. While they are the distant cousin of domesticated horses, now they're endangered. Nearly all Przewalski horses can be traced back 500,000 years ago to 12 of these horses, all born to its original habitat, Mongolia. Today, 3,400 miles across the globe in Texas, what was once endangered is now making a comeback. Meet Kurt, a Przewalski horse born August 6, 2020, that was cloned by the company Viagen and Equine.
And they were unimaginable a decade ago, and we're very excited.
Kurt is the genetic clone of another Przewalski horse that lived from 1975 to 1998 at the San Diego Zoo. In 1980, the zoo realized they had one of these rare horses with good genes, so they took a genetic sample and froze it. Since there's hardly any Przewalski horses left, inbreeding can cause abnormalities, something Viagen says they can fix.
Technology like ours allows the introduction of new diverse genes so that future generations of Przewalski's horses can now be healthier and benefit from the diversity of genetics that Kurt will bring.
So how did Viagen get involved with saving endangered species?
We had this experience and that we clearly were operating in a manner that allowed us to efficiently use recipients and eggs and those things. And we're quite impressed with the track record and the knowledge base that we've developed over time.
What has Viagen developed over time? A strategy of winning, as seen in the case of World Championship polo player Adolfo Cambiaso of Argentina, who is still winning championships around the world thanks to his third cloned championship horse, all done by Viagen. But also,
I've had 30 plus pets, and I've never had such a strong immediate connection with a pet as I do with Jelly, Angel's clone.
That's right, cloning Fido and Fluffy, the family cat and dog. It's a double take for some, but not for Jay Jackson, who's going on his second round of his original two pooches.
It's like deja vu, going back 12 years when the original Angel and Casper were alive.
And you really have to love your dog and cat in order to get them cloned. Loving them a whole $50,000 worth in order to go from old Yeller to new Yeller. Which is why many agility trainers and dogs that have won Best in Show nowadays, they're a carbon copy to keep those good genes going. So when is it a good time to clone?
The age of the dog does not have an effect on the quality of the biopsy and therefore the quality of the cloned puppy.
But what about if your dog has cancer or a pre-existing condition? Does it transfer to the clone?
That cloned puppy will be born as an identical twin to the original. And so that's an important conversation for the client to have with their veterinarian in terms of how much of my dog's problems are associated with his genetics versus his environment.
So what about personality?
When we give you a cloned puppy or kitten, it isn't automatically stamped with exactly the same behaviors and personalities as the donor. So many of those traits will be impacted by the environment that you place that puppy or kitten into.
A common misconception, Russell says, is that clones don't live very long. This seen by the first cloned sheep, Dolly, who only lived 6 years. However, Russell says Dolly died of a disease many other sheep died from that year. So when it comes to clones and if they live long, Russell says they can, and they do.
With Angel, that's definitely true. I see her right here. She's living, she's breathing, and her legacy lives on.
For RT, I'm Farron Franzak.